Welcome to episode 27 of the Midwest Angler Podcast. I'm Scott Sturman, joined by Matt Deitch. Matt, couple more of these episodes and it's going to be as old as me.
Well, it's going to take a while to get as old as me, so...
Yeah, it'll never catch up with you.
No, I'll always stay ahead of this, so...
Yeah.
Oh, we'll keep pumping them out.
Yep.
See what happens.
Yep. Having fun so far.
Oh, definitely. Hopefully everybody that's listening and watching is enjoying the show. Always getting that feedback. It's always fun to kind of do. Make sure that you're watching on YouTube, checking us out on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, right? All that.
Yep, iTunes and Google Play. I wanted to ask a few people, right now the way that we do it is I upload the audio to SoundCloud and it disperses it to iTunes and Google Play. Now, I know that there's another podcast outlet called Podbean, and I talked to a guy down at the river a while back. We were talking about the podcast, and he said that he listens to all his podcasts on Podbean. So, I guess what I'm asking is if there's more people that are like, golly, I do listen to podcasts. I always listen to them on Podbean, but I switch over and listen to this podcast, on iTunes, and that's not something that I normally do. Or anything like that. If you guys would like to see us on Podbean, let us know.
Yeah, give us a holler.
Yep, shoot us a message, drop down in the comments. I don't care what you do, but we'll definitely get on Podbean if there's people that want us on Podbean. We might do it anyways, just because it's one more deal, but it does cost money for us to be on Podbean. So, if it's not something that people really care about because our listeners don't want to listen to us on Podbean, then we won't do it. But if it is something that anyone out there would like, we'll definitely look into it. We can get on there pretty easily.
That's right. Any way we can get to you guys, just to get more listeners, keep our faithful listeners that have been listening for a long time.
Yep.
Just let us know.
Yep. That's all.
Check out our Facebook page and our Instagram posts. Scott is always doing a good job of putting different posts up there.
I try not to be annoying. I try not to, post too many posts, but, I really think in the social media world, I don't know that there is such thing as too many posts, and so it's kind of a tough deal,
It's not like you're trying to sell stuff. That's the annoying things when people are trying to sell things to you. Or do this and do that. All we want you to do is listen.
Yeah, our product is free. I don't see that going anywhere. I think
unless people want to start paying us for
it.
I mean, if you really want to start paying for it, okay.
People with a lot of money like Teaslink and Jeremy K, like they can pay us.
Good luck getting Jeremy K to spend any of that money.
Well, unless we're paying him, no. So a few tournaments around the Midwest.
The AIM Walleye Series was up at Mille Lacs this last weekend. Huge weights put up. I think it took 40 pounds just to get in the top 15.
Really?
That's 5 fish for, it's a one-day tournament. And 15th was 40 pounds, some ounces. The winners ended up winning with 51 pounds, which is crazy. That's 5 walleyes for 51 pounds. And AIM is a little different than your traditional tournaments. It's a catch and release tournament where you catch it, you photo it on the measuring board and everything like that, and then they have like I don't know if they weigh them there or if they have like a calculation thing that they weigh them, and then you take your 5 biggest ones and bring your card to the weigh-in, and they go with the people with the 5 biggest fish. I mean,
isn't that insane?
It is. I mean,
in one day to go out and catch 5 10-pound walleyes.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, they're reading off those cards. I've watched the last couple weigh-ins, so to say, when they're reading off their cards and everything like that, and they're like a 29.5-inch walleye, a 30.5-inch walleye, and it's just like most people fish their whole life and never catch one like that, and some of these guys are going out there and catching 5 of them in one day.
Think about the fish that they released, or not necessarily released, but think about the fish that didn't make their final 5,
Right.
They're releasing fish that other people, who haven't. God, that's just insane.
And that's kind of a cool type of catch and release tournament where
very cool.
You're still just weighing your 5 biggest fish. It's not just like you're weighing every one of your fish that you catch that's over 1 pound. It's just, it still relies on your 5 biggest fish,
Yep.
but it's getting the fish back in the water, releasing them alive and safe and healthy. So
Yep.
it's kind of a cool little series. It's kind of an upper Midwest. They fish North Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, I think. So I think it'd be kind of cool to do a tournament like that over here at Spirit Lake
Yeah.
or East Okoboji or something like that.
Yep.
But Spirit
Very
Lake
cool.
really fun. I mean, because then you don't have to worry about slots and all that stuff because all you're doing is catching and taking a picture and releasing it.
Yep. Yeah, that definitely would be cool.
So hopefully, I guess we'll see.
Yeah, someone down the road with the capabilities of pulling something like that off.
Maybe one of the bait shops over there should try to get like some,
Yeah.
you know,
What is that app on the phone like? Tourney X or
I don't know what it is.
you know what
I
I'm
don't know.
talking about?
I don't know.
No. There's some app on the phone. I think Stan's Bait Shop over at Okoboji does their kayak fishing
Okay.
tournaments through this app or whatever, and I don't know if it goes off length or how it goes, but you take a picture of it and it automatically uploads into this tournament, and you know, whatever. But I have never looked into it, but yeah, either way, Vogel's Lodge and Lure down in Lemoyne, Nebraska, which is on Lake McConaughey, had their Vogel's Lodge and Lure Shut Up and Fish walleye tournament last weekend, and not in the lax weights, but there was
still solid fish.
oh, definitely. There was walleye weight over 12 pounds. There was, you know, a lot of 7s, 8s, you know, whatever. But no, a lot of walleye tournaments going on right now. And from what I've heard from almost everybody, is the walleye bite is pretty good almost
Yeah.
everywhere.
It seems like it. We were up in South Dakota yesterday and fished some lakes. It was a struggle for us. The first lake that we stopped at, we didn't catch any.
Oh, did you move lakes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. And yeah, it was. I had one bite there. I think was it, and went to the next one, and it was still a struggle. And finally, towards later in the evening, we finally started catching. The first one we caught, I think, was a small one, and then a little bit later, I had one follow my lure in and swipe at it at the boat, and then swim off, and then a little bit later, my friend ended up catching one that was about 25 inches there, and that ended up being the biggest fish for the day. But then we finally got onto a little bit of a pattern, and by the end of the night, 3 of us fishing in the boat, I think we ended up with about 15, 20 walleyes right in there, and they were all, I mean, they were big, solid fish.
Okay.
I mean, it's your typical South Dakota fish, like I always talk about. It wasn't a bunch of like 15, 16 inchers. It was, they were all probably 18 to 25. I mean, we had a handful for sure that were 23 to 25 inches.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which you can't argue about.
No, I felt bad when I texted you last night. You know, I texted you, I don't know what time it was, and I'm like, for God's sakes, just send me a picture of a walleye. You wrote back, little tougher. So
It's not going as we thought.
No.
It was a little tough because the weeds started growing a little bit more than the last time that we've been up there, so that makes it
Yeah.
a little bit tougher
Oh, yeah.
for the techniques that we were using. So we just had to adapt to it, and we finally had adjusted the right way. And
been a touch colder the last couple
Yeah,
days.
yep.
And, you know,
the water temp has dropped like 4 degrees, so
Yep.
that can make a difference. And
Definitely.
there was little rain pockets all over the place up there, little popping up. So I'm sure the weather didn't help us any.
Yep.
But I think we might go try to get after it again tomorrow and try to
geez.
get some redemption.
How tough would that be? So, if any of you people are listening and you're still in high school or haven't made your college decisions yet, and you're really into fishing, teaching might be the way to go, because
You get time.
Matt kind of torments all of us all summer long when he's out fishing. And
Yeah, a lot of people are always asking me, going fishing this weekend? And I always tell them, nope. And they're like, well, why not? I go, I say
I can
because
fish during the week.
I let all the weekenders get out there. I can have the lake to myself the rest of the week. So
Yeah.
Mondays and Tuesdays are one of my favorite days to fish.
I believe it.
Everybody's out of there, and
Yep.
it seems like they always bite better. Should have been here,
Yeah.
earlier in the week. So.
Yep. And I know how that goes. I mean, how many times have I been up to Okoboji and you have crappy, rough, lake and crappy weather Friday, Saturday, Sunday afternoon when you're packing up and heading home, lake is like glass.
It's just like, oh man, we should be out there right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I think so many people, if they're going to go for a long weekend, take Fridays off
Right.
and go Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You really need to do it the other way around and
Exactly.
take Monday off
Yep.
and get there on Saturday, Sunday, and then have a beautiful day on Monday.
Right. That's a great way to.
It never
it's a
rains
good-
on Mondays.
It
That's a
doesn't
fact.
seem
That's
like
a
it.
fact.
I mean, most of the time when you get up going to work on a Monday, you're just like, man, I should really be out doing something.
Yep, exactly. So,
So yeah, no, it was a good trip.
yeah, never bad trips.
Never bad. No.
So, yeah, I messaged Matt earlier today and I said, what do you want to talk about tonight? And so we decided that we were going to come up with 3 questions. I'll ask Matt 3 questions, he'll ask me 3 questions, and I guess if we kind of get off on a rant or a talking point on one of them, maybe we won't even cover the 3rd
Maybe we
question.
won't get to
I don't
all the
know.
questions. We'll just
don't
have
know.
to wait and see.
So, yeah, you want to open her up?
All right, I'll open her up.
Oh, boy.
We'll kind of start with we'll start with kind of an easy one for you.
Okay.
One that you don't have to make a whole lot of decision to think about. I'm sure that you've thought about it. I don't know if I've asked you this before or not, but if you could only fish with one lure, so to say, or one thing, use one thing for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Ooh.
Only one thing.
Ice fishing too.
We'll go summer fishing. Since
Summer
it's summer
fishing.
season, we'll go summer fishing because, yeah, it'd be kind of tough to.
Golly, I'm really a panfish guy at heart. I really like bluegills and yellow bass, crappies, perch. I really got to think that I would go. Golly, it's down between 2. I would either go with a regular 1/8 ounce jig head and either a Mr. Twister or I've been really using these Berkeley ribbed shads, kind of a paddle tail, but I use those down in the river, and really in the grand scheme of things, 75% of my fishing that I do is down in the river right here in town.
Right.
But I do a lot of fishing up at Okoboji, and I really like to jig a shucks jigger, pilkey. Everyone kind of calls them a little something different, but I like to do that, tipped with waxworms. You wouldn't have any luck with that here in the river, and I could still have luck with the jig head and ribbed shad up at Okoboji. I think I'd go with that.
Yeah, yeah.
That sucks. That's a crap question.
No,
That
your
sucks.
tackle box is on fire and you can only save one. Which one are you saving?
It's gonna be that 1/8 ounce jig head and a ribbed shad or a twister tail or some
Right.
sort of swim bait like that.
Something on there. That's probably what I would say too, is
Yep.
a 1/8 ounce jig or a 1/4 ounce. I might go the 1/4 ounce jig just for the fact that you can use the 1/4 ounce in deeper water or shallow water and get
Yep.
away with it. So
I
or
used to-
maybe I'll just split the difference and go 3/16 ounce.
Yeah,
There you
that's
go.
what I would do too.
So
I used to throw a heavier jig down here, and I just did it solely, to get out there a little bit farther, have a little bit more castability on my jig. But I've gone down to 1/8 ounce,
Yep.
and I save a lot more jigs that way.
right, because the fall rate isn't as fast, so it doesn't, boom, get down there in the rocks. You can have a little leeway with it.
Yep.
So yeah, 1/8 ounce jig, a fluke style bait or a
Yep.
swim bait body.
Yep.
You can catch anything anywhere with that. I mean,
Yep.
if you wanted to go fish in a trout stream, you can catch trout with it. If you wanted to fish for bass, you can catch bass with it. Walleye.
I caught
Panfish.
walleye on it last weekend out on the Missouri River,
Right.
from the dock.
Right. And
So-
yeah, and catfish, everything bites it.
Yep, yeah, you can slow roll it. You can reel it in a little bit faster. You can let
And
it
you
sit
can
on the
even snag
bottom.
a state record walleye with it.
Whoa, turn up the heat. All right, on to the next one.
On to the next.
All right, so here's one for you. You have the option for the rest of your life to either never lose a fish, never hook one and have it get off, or never get skunked on a fishing trip.
Ooh. I'm gonna say never get skunked on a fishing trip.
Really?
Yep. Yep.
Wow. See, I thought about it when I was thinking up that question. I'm one of those guys that always thinks every fish that gets off is the biggest fish of all time.
Well, right. Usually it is when you're tournament fishing.
Yep. Yeah, definitely when you're tournament fishing. But I don't know.
There's sometimes the reason I say that is because there's fish that I hook into that I don't want to have to deal with. And I hope that they get off. I don't have to sit there and say, "Oh, great! Now I got to take this off because Scott put that on me."
Yep.
Now this thing's coming in the boat.
Yep.
It can't just shake off by itself. So
That's. No, I still think that I would go with the.
no, I would say not get skunked because it can be a long day if you spend a lot of time planning on something and
Yep, and you know what?
not catching. If you bring somebody along, I mean, I'm all right if I go out by myself and I don't catch anything. It's kind of like, oh, okay, dang it.
Yep.
So you need to sit there and think and you learn from it. But like when you're bringing other people out, especially people that don't fish much,
And they're putting their trust in you, like,
Yeah.
oh, we're going out with Matt, we're going to hook them.
Right,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
then I wanna-
definitely true too.
that's definitely what I would probably go with on that one.
All right. Yeah, that's a good one.
All right. We'll keep going with the theme of you only get to do this if you could only pick one person to fish with the rest of your life, who would it be?
Well, there's no offense to you. You'd be number 2, Matt. But
No, you ain't gonna hurt any feelings.
Big Tasty.
Big Tasty.
Grady, my
Your
son Grady
yeah.
would definitely be it. God, he's just really getting to be a good fisherman. He has that
Fun in the
drive.
boat.
I don't. Yeah, exactly. I mean, just his little comments. I don't need to push him to fish.
No.
Like he wants to go and fish. We can be sitting up at Okoboji and he can just be like, "Hey, Dad, I'm going out to the dock and going to fish." Have at it, pal.
Right.
And it's a lot harder. When I was trying to get them to go turkey hunting and deer hunting, there was some times when I was like, hey, weather's looking good tonight. What do you think about deer hunting? And yeah, you could just tell that both him and Aubrey, yeah, like they were almost going just to make me happy, and that's not what I want.
Right.
I want you to go because you want to go, and with fishing, I don't have to do that at all with Grady, and I'm just really excited to see how, hopefully he keeps liking it. If he doesn't, well, yeah, then I guess you're back to number 1, man. No, I would definitely pick Grady. So
Yeah, hopefully, we've talked about it before with the fishing leagues and all this stuff starting to get popular here. I see that Okoboji, I think it's
yeah, that Calvin Grosvenor got that started
Going.
over there. So
Yes.
that's very cool. Very cool.
So, and we got our trap shooting club going here in our county. Maybe pretty soon we'll get a fishing thing going.
I think our biggest problem is always going to be that we don't have,
Right.
Lake Pahoja, and hopefully Lake Pahoja keeps coming on. The bass seem a little bit stunted over there, or
Yeah.
just not quite as
They're
big
not
as what they
growing.
should be. But the bluegill's good, and I don't know. I've heard that there's walleyes in there, and I've heard that a couple of guys have caught some nice sized walleyes. But I don't know if you'd have to make it that you'd go over to Okoboji to compete.
Right.
Which, in the grand scheme of things, I mean, heck, teams like West Lyon and even Central Lyon, in some of those smaller classes in football, they're driving 3 hours to
Right,
play
yeah.
a regular conference game. So,
Well, and the tournament part of it isn't so bad having to travel for the tournament part of it. It's just like a lot of these teams do like weeknight fishing things where they get together and they go out and just do little things. And that's what makes it tough when you don't have a lake that's close,
yep,
Especially one that offers a variety of things. I mean, you could go to Silver Lake, which is 45 miles away, but all you're going to really end up doing is trolling for walleyes.
yep,
That's where Okoboji is nice. If it was closer, where you could go there on a weeknight and do it. And the only thing that sucks too is how busy the kids are now.
Oh, yeah.
They just don't get time.
yep. Grady's
To
got
fish.
4 baseball games. He's going to be in 5th grade. He's got 4 baseball games this week.
Yeah, it's just crazy how busy the kids are now.
So
It's no wonder a lot of them
fizzle out.
yeah, because it's just like, again, you're making, a lot of times they're doing it just to please their parents, and
Yep.
they may seem like they're doing it because they love it, but eventually it's like, man, some time off, maybe go out and do some fishing would be nice. So.
Always keep them wanting more.
Right.
always keep them wanting more. You know, if they have 4 games and, you know, they're like, golly, I wish we had 5, that's good.
Yep.
They have 12 games and they're starting to get burned out by number 8, you overdid it.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
whatever,
So yeah,
We're
so
not
the
gonna-
big thing is you want to get
Yep.
be with Big Tasty.
So you?
Me? I'm gonna say Al Linder.
Yeah? Well,
Just because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
yeah. Oh, what if you hurt one of his brother's feelings?
That's all right.
Okay.
I don't know them. I don't know Al either, but I feel like I
You
do
just
from
know
years of him watching him in the mornings and
If you met him, you guys would be friends. He'd like you
Right.
too.
right. I think he'd say the same thing about me. So
Yeah. This dude down in Iowa, Matt Deitch. So, all right. Favorite lake to fish and why?
favorite lake to fish and why? Out of the ones that I have fished, I love the 81 ponds up in South Dakota.
Yeah.
Just for the fact that there's big smallmouth bass in there, there's big walleyes in there, you can catch a muskie in there. It's an old gravel road you put the boat in off of, so you're not going to run into pleasure boaters or anything like that.
Yep.
And you can catch fish a variety of ways. I'd have to say that's one, out of the ones that I've ever fished, that'd probably be my favorite one.
Okay.
Have I been there in the last couple of years? No. Why? I don't know, but
Yeah,
I was
don't know
there.
either.
I was there last year, I think. So
Yeah, fair enough.
I'd have to say that one. I mean, I like Okoboji. I really enjoy fishing Okoboji because
Yeah,
I grew up
right.
doing it. But dealing with the pleasure boaters during the summer just plain sucks. If we didn't have to deal with that I might say Okoboji is one of my favorite ones.
Well, and we get to go there often, so it's not quite as special neither. You know, I mean,
And we've talked about that before too. Like we think, oh, it's Okoboji, and some of these other people are specifically traveling to come.
Oh yeah, it's their
fish.
bucket list lake,
And I think we've mentioned that before. I think during the ice fishing season when we were talking about things, I think that everybody does that. Like their home lake, everybody's like, oh, okay. You know, the people that fish Mille Lacs all the time are always like, yeah, it's Mille Lacs. You know, we get to do
Yep.
it. I mean, some of them realize this how special they have it there, but
right.
you know, they still think, oh, I'd love to go fish this lake.
Yep.
So that's one I'd have to probably say.
Yeah. No, I remember pictures. You've got a picture of one monster smallmouth
Yep.
and one nice walleye too, and
Yeah,
yeah,
that was up there.
yeah, that'd be good. I've never been there.
We're
Drove
gonna
by
go.
it.
We're gonna go this summer then.
All right,
Plan on it.
I'm ready. We'll leave right now if you want to. No.
All right. Last question for you.
All right.
If you were fishing in a tournament, you were fishing a tournament series, it can be anyone, and all these anglers have a song that they come into. What would your stage song be?
Wow.
I'll let you think about it for a bit.
Yeah, let me think about this one.
Because it's a big thing, you know, you come walking up there every time and that
Yeah.
song's playing and rocking out. I mean, there's a lot to choose from. You can have a country song, you can go straight hip hop, you can go straight rock and roll, heavy metal. I mean, the possibilities are endless. I know Ramsey's would be the dueling banjos. And the announcer would get a little worried when all of a sudden he heard bada ding 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 ding. So that'd be his. We already got that one picked out for him.
Would yours be Hall & Oates?
Oh, for sure.
For sure.
Yeah, you make my dreams come true.
That, you know, that whenever I hear that song come on the radio now, I mean, after that day when we were over at Okoboji and we just, man, we crushed the walleyes, and you were Snapchatting and singing and dancing to that song. That's just kind of been my fishing song, but it's your fishing song. It's mine because, just because you showed it to me. I don't know. I don't know where I would go with that song. I don't like rock music. I mean, I don't mind some rock music, a lighter rock, but screamo is not for me. I don't think it fits in with fishing in the outdoors. I listen to a little bit of hip hop. I listen to a lot of country. I don't know. It would have
What do
to
you
be.
mean you listen to a little bit of hip hop? I remember the big
Oh,
rim,
hey.
the big rims on the truck, and
you
The
know,
tinted windows,
they
and
don't-
loud.
they don't rap like they used to. I mean,
Oh, I know that.
These clowns these days don't know nothing. I mean, we're talking about Slim Thug and Bun B and Mike Jones. I mean,
Who?
exactly. No, those were the good old days. This stuff
Oh, I
nowadays. No, I don't know. Maybe God's Gonna Cut You Down by Johnny Cash.
There you go. That'd be a good one.
Yeah, you know, that just, you know, it's nice and mellow. You know, it kind of fits the country deal, but, you know, it just kind of slowly gets me pumped too. I mean, I feel like I would just go out there and from the very first cast, I'd just hook them. I think that might be it. I might change my mind. You know, maybe every tournament I'd change my mind, but
And that's a huge deal. You
Oh,
got
definitely.
Music is like when it comes to fishing for them slow times, putting on the radio.
maybe Stone Cold's entrance song, you know, with the glass shattering. And maybe it'd be something like that.
Just don't be giving anybody Stone Cold stunners. out
No,
there.
well, I mean, you catch more than me. I'm not guaranteeing nothing. But all right. So my last one for you: do you prefer to fish by yourself, or do you prefer to fish with a buddy?
I was thinking about that the other day actually, and I prefer fishing with a buddy.
Yeah.
I mean, there's times where it's all right to go by yourself and everything, but it's always fun to share the experience with somebody else.
I'm right there with you.
I mean, everybody, you know, like you said earlier on here, that I get to go during the summer all the time because of what my job allows me to do and my schedule and everything. But sometimes it can get boring.
Yep.
I mean, it's kind of like that deal of you catch a big fish, you can be excited, but you're not sharing it with anybody,
Right.
or you get into like you're out there and you're looking for crappies or something like that. And you get into a huge school of crappies. I mean, I can only sit there and take so many Snapchats and send them to my friends before it's just kind of like, oh, okay. I mean, they're getting annoyed by me sending them. I'm getting annoyed by sending them. So
I said this very question to Jeremy Kay, and he thought he thought you were going to be a by yourself guy.
no,
But I said, you know, it's always nicer to you know, do the boat with a friend.
It's easier to have somebody along.
Yep, and you know, I can't tell you how many times you've taken a picture of a walleye or whatever, and
Right.
you know, it's like, that thing was 24 inches, and it's like, oh, you know, looks
It's hard
like
to get good pictures.
Yeah, hard to
and
get
stuff.
good pictures by yourself, and you know, I've always been a deer hunter, but in the last couple of years I've kind of slowed down with deer hunting, and I've really liked duck and goose hunting better. Am I going to go duck and goose hunting by myself? Probably not. But I think the thing that I like so much about it is the camaraderie. You know, you and a bunch of dudes, you know, laying in the blinds and, you know, throwing corn cobs at each other, and you know, just, you know, and it's the same with fishing. Last night I went down to the river by myself, but it's a lot funner when you or Ramrod is down there and you know, can ask you, you know, hey, what are you doing? You know, watch you catch fish. You watch me catch fish. You know, just someone to bounce ideas off of
Yeah.
and everything else. I'm right there with you. I'm definitely a guy that likes to be with other people and doing
The social aspect of it is one of the reasons I really enjoy fishing.
Yep.
I mean, you get to meet a lot of cool people, you get to see a lot of cool things, and I mean, the other day when we were fishing and that hot air balloon came floating right down onto the water, it's cool, like, to see that, but when you're by yourself, it's not as cool as when there's other people with you and you can sit there and,
Right.
you know, kind of
I
say
mean,
stories about it.
Do you crank up Hall & Oates and do a little dance when you're by yourself? Probably not quite as good. I mean, I'm
I
not
do.
going to put it past you, yeah. But, you know, it makes it a lot funner when
Yeah.
you got somebody
And
else.
people don't think you're as crazy as when
Right.
if you're by yourself and they see you doing it compared to with other people in the boat.
Yeah. Like,
Well, you
that dude doesn't have any friends. Oh, yeah, he actually does have a friend. There's somebody in the boat with him. No, yeah, I definitely agree with that, so.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's fun when we're together. It doesn't matter if I'm with like my family members, fishing with people I've never fished with before.
Yep.
It's always kind of fun just to kind of do it. And when you're out there, people coming up and talking to you, other boats and
Yep.
all that. It's not so bad when you know the people. Sometimes it gets annoying, I guess, when you're out there fishing and people just come rolling up to see if you're catching anything. Then all of a
Or
sudden,
right after you catch something.
yeah, then
Last
they
night I
come
had it at
fish.
the river. I'm fishing about 10 yards below the big dam.
Yeah.
And I'm hooking them, like one after the other. Small fish, but I'm hooking them. And there's two guys down the river, closer down by the bridge. So for those of you that don't know where I'm fishing, a big, what do they call it, a low head dam?
Yeah.
A low head dam. I'm fishing right below this low head dam, 10 yards downstream. There's a little pocket in there. I'm casting, I'm catching, and there's some other guys 25 yards down the shore, and they look over and they see me catch 2, 3, 4 in a row, and all of a sudden, boom, I don't see them. I'm not thinking anything of it. Next thing you know, I turn around and they're in between me and the dam.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like,
And it's not very far.
and I mean, if the dam is right there, you can only cast one way, and that's down
Exactly.
towards me.
Right.
You know, if you cast out at all, the
Your
current
line.
is gonna be right there anyhow.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you doing? And I don't know,
That gets frustrating.
it does, and you know, I mean, I realize it's a public river, I get it, but I mean, there's a little bit of ethics that's involved.
Yep. That's the other night when we were down there, there was somebody fishing upstream from me a little ways, and they were fishing for catfish or whatever they could catch. And they threw their line out with a sinker and a chub on it, and they probably had, I don't know, 50 yards of line out. So it's like way out there, like I could not if I wanted to cast out from where I was, I wouldn't have been able to cast out because I would have hooked their line.
Right.
And it's just like,
Yep. Yep.
like when they finally did hook one, I could tell them what they were reeling in before they realized what they were getting at because it was coming down the shoreline at me. You know, luckily for us, we know how to fish the river a little bit better than some other people do,
And that's the hardest thing for me. You know, like last night, I'm not the type of guy that's going to make an issue of it. I'm not gonna turn around and say, you know, hey, what are you doing? I'm not gonna do anything. I casted a few more times and I moved down the river right to where they were and I hooked a dinger.
and that's what you do.
Yep, it felt good. But you know, it just, yeah, I don't even know where we were going with that. Oh, but I don't know. I think I said I went down there by myself, but yeah,
Yeah.
it just wasn't the same without, you know, you, Ramrod, anyone else down there, and yeah, so whatever. Then there's that.
And that's what makes it tough, that whole thing about celebrating when you catch one or something like that. That's just like when sometimes when we're out fishing and you hook into a big fish, and I know you've been along with me before, and we've hooked into a fish, and you're fighting, and it's just like, just keep it down in the water. Don't.
Oh yeah.
It's
yeah.
just like, just stand there like you don't have a fish on.
Yep.
Here you got like a 25-inch walleye on, and you're just kind of standing there holding your rod in the water like you're reeling in, and because there's people coming by or there's people close, and you don't want to make a scene, because unfortunately a lot of people, when they see that, it's boom, as soon as they see you get the net out, they're coming. It's just like, oh, they're on fish over there, so let's go over there and fish with them, by them. And
I think folks in Minnesota call it the Iowa Fish Finder. I prefer to call it the Minnesota Fish Finder. So.
and it doesn't matter where you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody does it, and I fish all 3 states, and yep, as soon as people see you grab the net, it's, oh, what are they doing
Yep.
over there? And pretty soon they're getting a little closer, they're getting, you know, and all this stuff.
And all of a
So,
sudden you got some fishing buddies you don't even know.
right, and you did all the work. I mean, the thing
Loreth
that
is always doing that to us.
Loreth always does that to
Yeah,
us.
I don't know if you've noticed that, but I've been noticing.
Yeah, he's always hitting his waypoint button whenever he comes over by us to talk to us. I thought he was turning down his radio, all that rap that he listens to.
Yeah.
Round and round.
P. Diddy.
So,
No. So, anyways, one more thing that I kind of talked to Matt before this, unless you got something
no,
else.
that's good
So
question.
I got talking to my buddy Jeremy K today at work, and I asked him, I was like, hey, me and Matt are going to do a question and answer deal between the two of us. You know, is there any questions you want me to ask or whatever? Because I know Jeremy and both Jeremy and Dan both listen to the podcast and blah, blah, blah. He didn't really have anything, but he came up to me at the end of the day and he's like, hey, why don't you guys try to do a Mount Rushmore of fishing? Who are the 4 most iconic people in fishing? And I know that me and Matt beat bass fishing a little bit harder than maybe what we should, because let's face it, up here in the Midwest, it's walleye, and you know, it's not as much bass fishing as you know, sometimes what we talk about. So I talked to Matt about it, and I'm like, hey, let's come up with the Midwest's Mount Rushmore of fishing. You know, people from Iowa, South Dakota, Minnesota, North Dakota, you know, you can throw
Wisconsin,
Nebraska,
yeah,
Wisconsin, Illinois, Michigan, you know, whatever. Those states in the mix are right up in here. And we want to know throughout the next week, I think I'll make a post about it. And if you guys drop down into the comments on that post, and, you know, even if you don't have 4 people, if you only have 1, you know, if you know.
Who you think should really be on
Yep.
that Mount Rushmore of fishing.
Yep, and you know, it can be new guys, it can be old guys. You know, if you're a big fan of Jason Mitchell and you think he's the guy, put down Jason Mitchell. If you think Babe Winkleman is the guy, put down Babe Winkleman. Let us know who you're thinking, and yeah, then hopefully next week, hopefully we can get some feedback from a few different people, and you know, we can discuss this again. I'll bring up who I think my 4 most iconic anglers are here in the Midwest. Matt can bring up his, and hopefully we've got enough feedback from listeners that also, you know, give us their 4 or just 1, whatever, but we'll share it back here with you guys, and yeah, go from there.
That's right.
So,
A little homework for you guys this week.
yep. Another thing that I wanted to quick touch on, I had all these people text messaging me, and my brother came up to me and he's like, hey, 2 episodes ago, you guys said that you had some big announcement,
Big announcement.
and you never announced it on this last one. It's still coming. It's just taking a little bit longer than what we thought. You know, at first-
Paperwork and
Yeah,
all
yeah.
this stuff it's in the process.
No, yeah, no, it is. It's a cool deal. I mean, it's nothing huge. It's nothing, you know, it's crazy, but it's cool for me and Matt. And you know, hopefully, some of the offers that we'll be able to offer to you guys, hopefully you guys think it's cool too. And hopefully by next episode, after the Mount Rushmore of Midwest fishing, we'll be able to give that to you too.
Make the announcement.
So, yeah, if that's all, that's all.
That's all I got.
Alrighty. See you guys next week.